Hey guys, it's Kat and I'm back, no makeup faced, for a foundation wear test. So I am trying a foundation from L'Oreal. I was sent this recently. It's just come out in Australia and I was very happy I was sent it because it's one that I've been curious about, but I don't think I would have bought it for myself. Firstly, I'm on a low buy, so I'm not buying much makeup this year, but also this is designed for like dewy skin and I have a natural oil glow, so I tend to go for mattifying things. But this is the L'Oreal Pro Glow, the Infallible Pro Glow. I love the Infallible range, so I've heard a lot about this and I did want to give it a go. I've got all 6 shades that are coming out in Australia, and you can see it goes from light beige through to a medium beige. The actual shade names are Classic Ivory, Creamy Natural, Nude Beige, Natural Buff, Sand Beige, and Sun Beige. It's all just 6 shades of beige. So the shade range is not the greatest and it's a little bit, it's a shame, I'm just gonna say. But I'm hoping that L'Oreal, if this is a popular product, brings it out in a lot more shades. Anyway, along with the Pro Glow Foundation, they're also releasing a few new primers to the market, so I'll talk about these, and also some tools. So there's brushes and stuff in here. These are the foundation brush. We've got these are the Infallible brushes. The Infallible blush brush, which is like an angle brush. We've got the Infallible powder brush. I haven't used these clearly. The Infallible sculpting contouring brush, I think that's for more like cream products. Infallible concealer, so these are all base products. And then this is just the face blender brush. They've also got a little sponge, which is what I want to try today. So this is the Infallible Foundation Blender, so I want to give that one a go. So before I put this on my face, let's just look at the primers. So there's 3 of them. There's this illuminating primer that's got this holographic packaging. And what does this look like? Oh, geez. Okay, so this is like, it's got a shimmer in it and it's sort of like a pink silver sort of shimmer. So it definitely adds a shimmer to your skin that would then hopefully come through the foundation and illuminate your makeup. So if you want a shimmery primer, that's one for you. Then there's an anti-redness one, which is in the green tube. Now this is definitely a decent green primer. I actually used this the other day. So it does come out very green. It's very, very runny. And when you do blend it in, it does still have a bit of a green cast. So this would be good on any areas where you've got a lot of redness. I've got some on my face. I might use some of this today actually. I've got a bit of redness on my cheeks and on my chin. So it's good at neutralizing that redness. And then we've got the mattifying one, which is in the black matte packaging. I'm going to try this as well today. It is a very runny, I thought it was going to be a real silicone feeling primer, but it's not. It's a very, very thin liquid and it's supposed to help with oil control and shine control. So I'm really keen to try that. I might try that on half of my face. So I do have oilier skin. I've got oily combination skin. I've got an oily T-zone and the rest of my face is normal. So I do require a lot of oil control just in my T-zone. So I generally go for more matte products and I have tried the Infallible 24-hour matte. This is my 2nd or 3rd tube. I've also tried their total cover, so their full coverage one. So I do like this range and I was very keen to try the Pro Glow version. I just was not sure if it was going to suit me. So I'm really keen to give it a go. So I'm going to put on a combination of these 2 primers. I might put some of the anti-redness just on my cheeks and my chin. And then on one side of my face, I might try the mattifying to see how that affects the wear of the foundation. All right, I'm going to put some, oh, Jesus. This stuff splurts everywhere. This stuff's really runny and it'll get on your clothes because this sort of pumps out violently. Oh, geez. Jeez Louise. This is actually the 2nd time I've tried this primer and it's the 2nd time I got it on my clothes. So yeah, it's a bit of a destructive one. So you can see it definitely does neutralize that redness, which is good. All right, I'm going to use some of the mattifying one on just half my face to see how it does affect the finish and the wear of the foundation. This is also very runny, but luckily if it gets in your clothes, it's sort of like translucent, not bright green. So I've just put some on this side of my face, just on top of that green, patting it on. It's definitely taken away some of that green. You can see that that's looking a lot more red than this now. All right, the shade that I'm going for is 203 Nude Beige. I think this should work for me. This is the third lightest shade, so it's like smack bang sort of in the middle of the range in Australia. So on the back of the bottle, it's got the claims, so it's supposed to be a radiant finish, last 24 hours, be medium coverage, and air light texture. Now, I don't mind dewy skin. I do have a lot of oil breakthrough, but as long as my makeup can last a long time, I can deal with it. I just don't like it when it breaks down around my oily areas, so I'm really keen to see how that lasts. And I'm going to apply it with the Infallible sponge. This is the foundation blender, so you can see it's got one flat side. It's quite a firm sponge, but I'll put it in water and see how it goes. Okay, so that's it after it's been put in water and squeezed out. So it's a lot softer now, and a lot bigger. Still not as soft as something like a beauty blender, but we'll give it a go. All right, let's put some on the sponge. It's quite a runny texture, as you can see. Whoa, 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 whoa. I'm going to apply this to the non-mattified area first. It's not a bad shade match for me. I just hope it doesn't oxidize because it is sort of on the, I don't know, if it gets too dark it's gonna not match my neck. But this, I did apply quite a lot, so probably you don't need that much. It's very, very runny, and it does sort of, I don't know, it spreads out really evenly. It's very, very wet looking. I think also because this sponge is damp, it is, yeah, it just applies really thinly and really lightly, which is nice. And you can see that if you do put quite a lot, there is medium coverage there. It's covered that redness pretty well. Hasn't quite covered the breakouts on my chin, but the excess, which is not much, it doesn't cover too much. So I'll put a little bit more. So I've just got a little bit more. This sponge is not too bad. It does like bounce quite well, but I don't think it's a little bit firm. If you've used a firm sponge, you'll know what it's like. It does the job, but not my favorite sponge. All right, so that is the foundation on. You can see that it's quite shiny. I am going to finish my makeup soon, put some concealer on, and also powder. A few people will be going, well, what's the point of powdering if you want a dewy foundation? And the thing is that if you've got very dry skin, you probably wouldn't want to powder because your skin will absorb the moisture here. And it will kind of settle down, whereas with my skin, since I am quite oily, this will just break down very, very quickly. So I will set this with a translucent powder. I'll also conceal, because even though it has a nice medium coverage where you can see that the skin looks quite flawless and quite even, but there are little like peekaboos with like a little bit of redness around the nose, little breakouts. So I do like how it looks. Too shiny for me, but I can fix that. I do like the coverage. I do like how it applied. It was very, very kind of simple and quick to apply. It's nice and thin, and even though it feels a little bit wet because I haven't set it and I'm not used to dewy foundations, it does feel like there's not too much product on my face, and it was quick and simple to do. So I like it so far. I'm just going to finish my makeup and I'll get back to you and show you how it's looking. All right, we're back with some makeup on. So I've just put a little bit of Milani concealer under the, like in a corner of the eye, around the nose, on the chin where I've got some breakouts. I just did a quick simple eye look, and I powdered my face with the Coty Airspun powder, and then I put a bit of bronzer and blush on. So that's what's happening at the moment. Really simple. I think I did my makeup in about 5 or 10 minutes. I put this foundation on at about 11:30. So I'm going to see how it wears throughout the day from around 11:30. I am going to say that after a little bit of concealer and after powdering, I really like the finish of this. I love the coverage. It's enough for me. It looks kind of flawless, but also it doesn't look too cakey. It doesn't look too heavy. and I think with a bit of powder it settles down really nicely. So if you didn't like that really shine that it gives when you first apply it, powdering definitely takes that away. I don't see a difference between the matte primer side and the non-matte primer side. Alright, so just zoomed out, this is what it looks like. It looks quite natural. I do have a shimmery blush on, so that's what that is. But you can see that it doesn't look too powdery, but at the same time it doesn't look dewy once it's been powdered. So it looks good. So we'll check back in soon and we'll see how it wears. Alright guys, so it's time for a check-in and it is nearly 5 o'clock. So I've had this makeup on for 5 to 5.5 hours, no touch-ups. The only touch-up I did was put lipstick on, but I'm really liking this. Also, as soon as I finished filming before, I left the house and I just got home. So for the past 5.5 hours, I have been out and about in the sun, running errands, doing things in a hot car. So I've kind of put it through its paces. I just haven't been like editing today where I just sit behind a computer and it's like a nice environment that maintains my makeup. I did put it under a little bit of like sun and heat, and it rained a little bit and it was confusing. So no touch-ups, and I'm actually really liking it. So I was driving home and I caught myself in the rearview mirror and I was like, oh my God, my skin looks so like around here. It looks so perfect. It's like just natural, not cakey. There's a bit of glow, so you can see on the forehead there's a little bit of shine, but it's not really oily. It does look dewy and really nice. So I do have oily skin and I generally go for a matte finish foundation because they are longer wearing than dewier like foundations. Generally, I like the look, like I like the healthy look of a dewy foundation, but most of them break down on me like there's no tomorrow, and this one's holding up pretty well. So there is a little bit of shine happening, but nothing disgusting, nothing major, and it's not really breaking down my makeup too much. I can't tell much of a difference between the side where I put the mattifying primer and the side where I didn't. I'm trying to look in the viewfinder if it's shinier there versus there. I don't think it is. All right, let's get up close and personal on my 31-year-old skin. So you can see it's broken down around my nose a little bit. That's where I get a lot of oil. A little bit there as well, a little bit on the nose, but generally if you just look at the nose, it looks fine. The skin is looking very healthy, really, really nice. Chin, a little bit greasy, forehead, quite nice. Like, little bit of a shine, but it's holding up really, really well. It's not creasing in lines. All right, guys, it is nearly 9 o'clock at night and I've been wearing this for a good 9 hours and I really like it. So I've done no touch-ups whatsoever. The only thing I've done is touching up my lipstick whenever I check in. So I'm under lights. It's nighttime, and usually if there's like any oil that's coming through, it's really amplified by lights, but I think it looks all right on camera. So it looks good in real life. It has broken it down around my nose a bit more than before, but since the last check-in, which was I think at the 5-hour mark, it really hasn't broken down much further, and I would be very confident in wearing this for a lot longer. Yeah, I'm really impressed with it. It's looking healthy and dewy. It's still sort of covering bits, stuff's peeking through a bit, but nothing too major. It held up really, really well. So the only reason I'm finishing this review now is because I want to go get changed. I want to take my makeup off, get into my pajamas, watch RuPaul's Drag Race, All Stars, and I don't want to have makeup on my face. So otherwise, I would be very confident in letting this keep going for a good 12, 14, 16, 18 hours, maybe not 18 hours, but I feel like it's lasted really well. It's definitely not creasing on me. It's definitely not looking very greasy. It's just looking like good skin, and I'm really impressed with it. So yeah, I think this is a great foundation and I'm really looking forward to using it more. The shade range is woeful, so it's a real shame because it's a good foundation. So even though the range is really, really poor, I'm glad that I've got a bunch of them because I can see myself wanting to wear this in winter where I'll have to reach for like a lighter one. I can see myself when I'm a bit more tanned wanting to reach for a deeper one. I can see myself wanting to mix them so I can use them all, because this is not necessarily yet a holy grail status, but if it wears as it was wearing today, every other day, I would reach for this over Fenty foundation, over Revlon Color Stay. I just think this looks really natural. It looks really beautiful. When it does come to the primers, I didn't notice a difference with the mattifying side and the non-mattifying side, so I'm gonna have to keep playing with that. Maybe try it in different areas, try it on my chin more. I'll have a play around. I'm gonna also play around with this luminizing one. This definitely does have a lot of shimmer in it, so if you want to just emphasize that illuminating quality of the foundation, or you can pair it with like one of the matte foundations to keep a matte look but make it look a little bit more radiant. You can mix that in, you can put it underneath. And the green one definitely does color correct. It is green enough to neutralize that redness, but it's not too green that it kind of shows through the foundation. I think it's a pretty good green primer from what I've tried. I am going to just show it to you in comparison to a Maybelline one, which I think the packaging is better because it's a squeezy tube, but that is barely green at all. Whereas this L'Oreal one definitely color corrects. So let's show the difference. See the difference there? So one is just like a slight tinted moisturizer that once you blend it in, the green is pretty much gone. There's no green. Whereas if you blend this one in, the green is there. So it definitely does color correct the skin. I much prefer this if you do want to neutralize redness than something like the Master Prime from Maybelline. So this one's just liquidy and messy. You can already see that I've only used this twice and it's already sort of made a lot of mess on the packaging, and both times I've used it, it got on my clothes because it just kind of splurts out. So, but it is a good anti-redness primer, probably one of the better ones that I've tried. Alright, so that's my review of the Infallible Pro Glow from L'Oreal. I really like it. I'm going to continue to use it. And I think in this range, from what I've tried, I really like the mattifying one, but I think this one might wear a lot better, which is surprising because generally glowy foundations do not work on my oily skin, but this one works really well. So thank you so much for watching. If you found that interesting, hopefully give it a thumbs up. If you tried this foundation, let me know what you think about it. But if you were apprehensive about trying it on oily skin, it still works. You might need to powder it down quite a bit to begin with, but after no touch-ups and 9 hours of wear, I'm pretty happy with it. So thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.